The film opens in a harsh desert where teenage inmates dig large pits in extreme heat. One boy, Barfbag, purposely gets bitten by a snake to escape labor. The story shifts to Stanley Yelnats, who collapses after sneakers fall from the sky and hit his head. He takes them home, hoping they might help his family, who is trying to fix smelly shoes. The police arrest him, assuming he stole them. The sneakers actually belong to charity-donated shoes from basketball star Clyde Livingston. Stanley's family links the event to their old curse. In court, he is sentenced to 18 months at Camp Green Lake. There, Supervisor Mr. Sir warns him that escape is pointless due to the waterless land and deadly lizards. Stanley is assigned daily hole digging to build character, with a chance of a break only if he finds something important. Counselor Dr. Pendansky introduces his team: X-Ray, Squid, Magnet, Zero, and others. Stanley replaces the hospitalized Barfbag. At meal break, Stanley explains his false arrest, when Zero speaks for the first time, shocking everyone. Stanley's bad luck started with his great-great-grandfather, Elia Yelnats. Back in Latvia, Elia wanted to marry a girl named Myra, but he needed a massive pig to win her father's approval. He turned to a mystic named Madame Zeroni. She gave him a piglet and a strict deal: carry the pig up a mountain every day to drink from a magic spring while singing it a lullaby. The catch? Once the pig was grown, Elia had to carry the elderly Zeroni up that same mountain. Elia followed the rules and the pig grew huge, but when the marriage fell through, he hopped a boat to America and forgot his promise. The curse was born. Generations later, Elia's son, Stanley Yelnats I, struck it rich in the U.S., only to be robbed of everything by the outlaw Kissin Kate Barlow. He was left for dead in the desert, surviving only because he found refuge at a rock formation he called God's Thumb. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the story. In the present, Stanley adjusts to camp life. He finds a fossil and takes it to Dr. Pendansky, who dismisses it, revealing the land was once a lake owned by the warden's grandfather. A flashback shows Sam, an onion seller, secretly admiring teacher Catherine and gifting her onions. She returns the favor with homemade peaches. Back at camp, Stanley gains the boys' trust and becomes part of the team. They rename him Caveman. He receives a letter from his mother. Zero asks about his laughter, and Stanley learns Zero can't read. Zero asks him to teach, but Stanley refuses, drained by daily digging. Stanley then finds a bullet shell marked KB. X-Ray grabs it and earns a day off. The warden is intrigued and orders everyone to dig deeper to find more. A century earlier, Sam repairs Catherine's leaking roof in exchange for 3 jars of her spiced peaches, and they grow close. Trout Walker, jealous of Catherine, sees Sam kiss her and burns down her school. When she seeks help, the sheriff ignores the crime and tries to kiss her instead, warning that Sam will be killed for kissing a white woman. Catherine rushes to save Sam but arrives too late. He is shot in his onion boat. Grief turns to revenge, and she kills the sheriff with one final kiss before leaving town. She becomes the outlaw Kissing Kate Barlow, robbing and killing the rich, giving each a final kiss. After Sam's death, drought destroys the town and the lake dries up, making Trout's land worthless. Back at the camp in the present, Mr. Sir brings water for the boys, and Magnet secretly takes a bag of sunflower seeds from him. When Mr. Sir realizes the bag is gone, he warns that the entire group will face punishment. To protect everyone, Stanley admits to the theft even though he is innocent. Mr. Sir takes him to the warden, expecting a harsh consequence, but the warden lashes out at Mr. Sir instead for interrupting the boys' digging duty. Later, Zero quietly digs Stanley's hole for him as a silent thank you for saving the group. Touched by this act, Stanley agrees to help Zero learn reading and writing. While spending time together, Stanley suddenly understands that the bullet casing he had found earlier is actually a lipstick container. It had once belonged to the very same Kissin Kate Barlow from the past. Meanwhile, Zero discloses that his actual name is Hector Zeroni, hinting that he is a descendant of Madame Zeroni, the woman who had placed a lifelong curse on the Yelnats family many years earlier. One day, Mr. Sir learns that Stanley has been relying on Zero to dig his daily holes. He angrily scolds both boys, calling them worthless. The insult pushes Hector over the edge. He strikes Mr. Sir with a shovel and bolts into the desert, escaping the camp. Later, the warden and the camp staff talk about Hector's disappearance and assume he will not last more than 7 days, since he has no family and grew up alone. It is also revealed that he was abandoned by his mother in a park when he was a baby. Stanley accidentally hears this discussion and is shaken by it. Please do subscribe to the channel before watching ahead. The next morning, Stanley resolves to leave the camp and search for his missing friend. After trekking endlessly through the sand and heat, he eventually spots Hector asleep beneath a wrecked, unused boat. Hector explains that he stayed alive by eating peaches from jars he had found inside the boat. The two boys realize that the boat once belonged to Sam, the onion seller who had been killed long ago. In the far distance, they notice a mountain shaped like a giant thumb. As Stanley stares at it, he suddenly realizes this must be God's thumb. Encouraged by hope, the boys begin climbing upward. Midway through, Hector becomes too exhausted to continue. Stanley refuses to abandon him and carries him the rest of the way on his shoulders, unknowingly honoring the vow his great-grandfather had once made to Madame Zeroni by carrying her great-grandson up the mountain. When they reach the peak, they find a flowing stream. Beside the water, they also see the onions that Sam had once planted near the spring. At the same time, Stanley's father back home successfully creates a cure for foul-smelling shoes using a mix made from onions and peaches. Shortly after, the court proves Stanley had nothing to do with the theft, and the family lawyer reaches Camp Green Lake to take him back. But the warden hides the truth about Stanley running away and never informs the attorney about it. The next day, Hector regains his energy and admits that Stanley was sent to the camp because of his mistake. The truth comes out. Hector was the one who accidentally took the basketball player's shoes from the charity sale. When the police started searching for them, he got scared and hurled the sneakers off a bridge. Because Stanley was constantly followed by bad luck, the shoes happened to fall directly on his head, making him look guilty. Stanley is stunned by the revelation, but instead of getting angry, he feels thankful, since that moment ultimately led him to discover God's thumb. The film jumps back in time once again. Kate Barlow finds Sam's boat stranded in the dried lakebed, which is now turned into a desert. She sits alone, lost in memories of Sam. Soon after, Trout Walker and his wife show up, desperate for money after losing everything to the drought. They forcefully question her about the location of the treasure she had stolen over the years. Kate refuses to reveal anything and takes a shocking step. She allows a yellow-spotted lizard to bite her. From that day on, Trout Walker's descendants, including the present warden, continue digging the dry lake ground, obsessively searching for Kate's hidden riches. In the present, Stanley and Hector return to the camp and dig at the spot where Kate's lipstick case was found and unearth a treasure chest. The warden and Mr. Sir try to take it, but retreat when yellow-spotted lizards swarm the boys. Their survival is explained. Lizards avoid them because they smell of onions, which the creatures hate. The lawyer arrives with police, and the warden claims the chest is hers, but the truth wins when Hector shows Stanley's name engraved on it. Stanley leaves camp with the chest, the warden is arrested, and rain falls over the desert after 100 years. Later, the treasure is split between Stanley and Hector. Hector reunites with his long-searching mother, and the two become next-door neighbors. They invite the freed camp boys to visit, as the film ends with friendship and family restored. Thanks for watching. Share this video with your friends.